Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Here we go, hour number 2 of USA Prepare Us. You know, today, this hour, we're going to be talking about, well, starting your own business. Make your passion your business. Make your hobby your business. Extreme tax deductions. Business secrets. And class, all of these statements that I make are based on life experiences, what others have experienced firsthand. What we're going to discuss contains my opinions. Proceed at your own risk. Don't believe anything I say. Do your own research. Consider this entertainment. And don't do any of this if you're not willing to defend yourself. Marty Barrett's with us. Marty Barrett. Welcome, Marty.
Thanks. I got lots more questions. You've talked me into getting my own business now. I'm
all
ready,
excited.
but I have lots more questions.
I'm so glad you've made that decision. I really am, because you're going to start realizing that you're going to be able to keep some of the money that you've mailed off to be wasted by the government. And so you're going to get to keep a larger percentage of what you've worked so hard for and what your husband has worked so hard for. And that's what this is all about. Class, business secrets. And you can take the same tax deductions that Donald Trump takes, the same ones that I take, the same ones that other entrepreneurs take. And so Marty's with us. So Marty, what are your thoughts?
Is there a good time? Is there some time that's better than another time to start your own business?
In my opinion, yes. You know, let me explain this. I have been laid off, and, I worked at the bank, and they had a bank closure. The boss called me and said, "Hey, Vinny, let's go to lunch." And I go to lunch, and he says, "I just want to let you know I'm being laid off." I said, "Oh, that's terrible. Jeez, that's awful. How awful. Oh, boy, this is terrible." And he said, "And so are you." As a matter of fact,
terrible, huh?
as a matter of fact, we're all getting laid off. As a matter of fact, they're closing this operation down. We're all getting thrown out. And he said, "You and I are going to be, a couple of the last guys to turn off the lights." And there's going to be a lot of crying. And then I realized that at that point, I became a second-class citizen. And everybody else drives off to work, and my car would still be in the driveway. And they'd say, "What happened to him? I guess he's not. Oh boy, he's lost his job. Wonder what he did." So the time to start your business is when you already or still have a job, when you still have those network connections. Okay, when you can still get your clients. Start scheduling your clients and start making. Yes. And it's more difficult to make that happen when you don't have your job, when you don't have that income stream. So right now, while you have an income stream, you can afford to spend a little bit of money on your business. But if that income stream were to stop, you'd say, I can't do that. I've got to pay this bill, that bill, the electric bill, the taxes, the insurance, and you might not be financially able to start your business. So the time is when you still have your job.
So
That's
even
the
if
best
you're
time.
planning on retiring, you think you should start before you retire?
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, in your case, what we're looking at is you want to be a tutor. You want to help people who are students, who are in school, having a little bit of difficulty. They need some guidance. They need a little more understanding as to why things that you teach happen the way you teach them, so they understand better, so they can be prepared to go on to the next set of material that they're going to learn and the next progression and ultimately get that position that they want. And in your case, you're teaching people how to be nurses, right? A lot of them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm protecting all of us.
Yes, and so you need to make sure they know the material cold. They know it very well. So not just to pass the test, but actually they have to know it. So your business is going to be giving them that extra guidance and training and education that they need. And you're going to do that from your home-based business. And so you are actually preparing for your own retirement. You're building in your own security, right?
So So how long before I retire should I start this business?
When did we do the first broadcast? This is our 7th one. During the first 15 minutes of broadcast number 1. That's when you should start.
Come on. I don't remember.
Right now.
Oh, okay.
Right now. Okay. And you already said you've made that decision to start your own business. So now Marty, you are in business. Okay? You are in business. And what did it take? It took you saying, I'm in business. That's what it took. You are now in business, and you can enjoy those tax deductions we've been talking about. And class, if you want to rewind and go and listen to some of these broadcasts, you can listen to them on GCN, Genesis Communications Network, the archives. You can go to USA Prepares, and you can find information about these broadcasts. You can go to Republic Broadcasting, listen to the archives there, or you can go to YouTube, and you can type in USA Prepares, Extreme Tax Deductions. And you'll find the Ron Gibson channel, and all 7 of these 1-hour broadcasts, part 1 through 7, will be there. And parts 1 through 6 are already there right now. So you started your business, and I'm all excited because you really are. It's going to change your thought process. As you buy things, as you spend your hard-earned money, you're going to be more deliberate, more careful, and you're going to be thinking about, is this something our business needs? And if it is, you'll be buying it, and if you can afford it. And if it's not, you won't.
Okay, well, are there any risks to this, starting my own business?
Very, very few. Now, let's qualify what I'm saying. You've been an instructor at the college level for 20 plus years, is that correct?
Yes.
This is your passion, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the time that you spend teaching people, would you ever regret having done that?
No.
Okay. So even if you were to do it for free, you wouldn't regret it, right?
No.
Okay. All right. So that would be one risk, the risk of wasting your time. So that's eliminated. Another risk might be, well, you're going to buy some things that you might not have to outfit your home office. Now, if you buy things that you never would have bought without your business, and you decide to not have your business continue, that would be a risk. But I don't think you're going to do that. You're going to be very judicious in how you spend your money, very careful. You're not going to waste money. And so I don't think there are any other risks besides, well, there's one. And I don't think it's a big risk. There's a possibility that you might get audited by either the state or the federal government's IRS corporation. So if you get audited, you might find that a little bit unpleasant at first, but by the end of the audit, you'll think it's pretty neat because you will have won. And you'll say, wow, they say these audits are really terrible. It wasn't any big deal. I was prepared for it, and I survived the audit. And not only that, we got more money back. So I don't see any risks at all from you starting your business at your home in the professional tutoring area. I don't see any at all, unless you were concerned about the audit. But that'll go away.
But you'll go with me to an audit, right?
I would love it. I would now we'd have to take some lawn chairs.
I'd be there a while. I think I'd really enjoy it.
Oh, we should. I'll tell you what. If that happens, let me know. Call me, and we'll bring friends and family, and we'll video it. Okay.
Pack a lunch.
And we'll yes, and it will be another tax deduction. It will be one for me. It'll be a tax deduction for me because I will announce that we're going to an audit and we're going to use it as classroom material. So the trip out, all the way to the East Coast. Let's see, that's about 1,100 miles each way at 54. That's about $1,000 deduction for me. Actually, over $1,000.
Wow.
Well, that's without meals. So you include meals. We might take a few days. We're up to maybe $1,500 worth of deductions for me just to come, to be part of this audit. And I can justify that because it's classroom material. And you, it would be a deduction for you because it's an educational experience. And you would come back on the air with me, and we'd be talking about it.
Great.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good deal.
Yeah. So I just want to let the IRS know and the state know that if they want to audit you, I'll be there, and we'll make sure that everybody gets full credit for everything they've done. We'll take pictures. We'll have a photo album. We'll put it on the internet. It'll be wonderful. Yeah.
It actually sounds like fun.
It will be. It really will be. I've been to court a number of times. I was a landlord at one time, another business that has lots of tax deductions, and I've ended up in court, and we always win. We always win. So it's a lot of fun, and so these things that you might find initially that you hear about that are horrible, that's because people are not prepared. But if they are prepared, it's no big deal. It really isn't. It's kind of like...
How do you prepare?
I'll tell you that in a second. But do you ever go to class unprepared, having no idea what you're going to do? I can't imagine that.
No.
No. Okay. Well, same thing is with the audit. And you prepare for it. And when? Okay. Was your question, how do I prepare?
Yeah.
Okay. We talked about this previously, but let's spend some time. When we come back from this break, I'll tell you how I prepare, how Vin Finelli and family prepares for a tax audit. One of those things that most people are terrified of. I'm telling you, it's no big deal. It's actually fun. And you can approach it with a big smile on your face. Why? Because you're ready. You're ready. And we'll talk about that in just a few minutes after these few short commercial announcements. Class, Marty Barrett's with us, and we're talking about extreme tax deductions and starting your own business. Truck driver Jay is in Kansas today, and he's got a tax-related question. Jay, you're on with Marty Barrett.
Yeah. Hey, good afternoon. Good morning, Vincent. I really wanted to talk to Dr. Wallach, but anyways, now my wife rides along with me, and I thought it would be a really good idea if she would have a business as my assistant. Now, I'm wondering what kind of tax deductions could she take as my assistant, that would be her business.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to weave that into the discussion. So I'm going to put you on hold while I answer. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
I've got a lot of material to cover. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold. Okay, so truck driver Jay travels all over the country, and he's called in a number of times. He wants his wife to start a business. Well, so she can start a journal of where she's been in the truck, how truck drivers, how the business works, and she can do a blog, if you will. And she can take pictures, and she can buy the camera and have the website and so forth. And what's the purpose of this? Well, maybe she wants to start a forum, a truck drivers forum, and actually have advertisers. And the purpose of the business would be to generate advertising revenue. So she'd have to have some really good content to get truck drivers interested in contributing to the forum about things they've found and so forth. That would be, my initial thoughts. I'm sure there's plenty of others that truck drivers could contribute to help us understand what would be a really neat way of running this business. But those are my initial thoughts. Marty, you had asked me about preparing for the audit. That may happen. And it really could happen. Here are my thoughts. So first, you need to know the rules. And to do that, you need to download Publication 17. Pub 17 from irs.gov. You download that and you read that and you learn about the business deductions that you can take and the business use of your home. So once you learn that, you're going to play by their rules and you are going to write down on all the receipts that are germane to your business why you bought what you bought, how it applies to the business, and in very, very few words. You're not going to write a dissertation. You're just going to write what the item is on the receipt and why you bought it, just for your own notes. And I would write that lightly in pencil. And then you would keep a log of your travel. why you went where you went, okay? And I heard the dog barking in the background. Well, that's a business deduction. That is your security system, and you will be deducting your dog's dog food, your dog's color, things costs that are associated with having your security system, which happens to be a biological security system. And so you've got your business use of the automobile at 54 cents per mile. You write down the beginning odometer reading for that trip you're making for your business. The end odometer reading, you make that subtraction, and you write down how many miles. And then you use that that goes into your tax preparation. And when you get audited, you say, oh, it's right here. My records are right here. 54 cents a mile. By what you've done. Well, I don't. They don't get the detail. They only get the summary sheets. Okay, they have forms that the IRS will provide you with forms, but the detail you don't give them. Only at audit time, and only item by item as they ask. You don't give them anything that they don't ask for.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is you are prepared. And when have you done the preparation? Well, you've done the preparation actually before you buy the items, before you make those business trips, those business visits to the vet and so forth. You know the rules, then you write down where you've gone and why for your own information, and you have those records ready. So you've already prepared for the audit while and before you are making those visits and purchases.
Now, let's say I forget to write it down, like I forget the odometer reading.
Write it down later.
Should I just say it's 9 miles to that place? I'm 54
I've
cents,
done that.
as long as I document that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And the date.
Got it.
Yep, we'll be right back. Marty Barrett's with us. We're talking about extreme tax deductions. And do they work? Yeah, they do. Does the internet say you can do it? No, it says you can't do it. I'm telling you, the internet's wrong. We'll be right back. Marty Barrett's with us. And we're talking about extreme tax deductions. In class, I want to make sure that this is clear. These are legitimate tax deductions and business expenses. This is not a scam. And we're not entertaining tax evasion, which is illegal. We're not entertaining that at all. We're discussing tax avoidance, which is perfectly above board and legitimate. It is legitimate. Tax avoidance. You don't have to pay taxes. You can avoid taxes. Okay? And that's what we're talking about. That's what the wealthy do. So we're talking about starting your own business, and that's what this 7-part series is about so far. Starting your own business and taking the same tax deductions the wealthy take. And it's all in print. You can download Publication 17 and learn this for yourself. So, Marty, do you have additional questions?
Yes. Previously you said if I had a room dedicated to tutoring, I could deduct, if that was one of 7 rooms, I could deduct a 7th of my electricity or roof repairs or things like that. What if I would do my tutoring at the kitchen table, which is not used exclusively for it, but what if I did it by time? What if I say that my kitchen table is 2 hours out of every 24, I'm using that room for tutoring? Could I do some calculations like that?
The IRS is pretty clear. They say that you've got to have exclusive use of that part of your home for the business, okay? And they'd probably give you a hard time about doing that. However, there are times when I can understand where you might want to do that. For example, let's say you have a configuration in that 3rd bedroom on the right, which is now your training center, your educational center, your office, your tutoring center. That's you've dedicated 1/7 of, and we're assuming that a home, and for these purposes on the classroom, one typical home might be 7 rooms, and we'll just take one of those rooms and make it the business office. So we'll take 1/7 of the expenses. There might be times when that room might be suitable for 1 or 2 of your students, but now we might have 4. It's cram time, and you say, "I'll tell you what, we'll do 4, but we're not going to be able to do it in the office or the classroom here. So we'll have to do it at the kitchen table because we can all fit there." Yeah, I think you can do that. However, the IRS would probably give you a hard time. Now, from a practical standpoint, you might have to do that. There might be no other choice. And if I were involved in that situation, I might write some notes to myself for my purposes that this is what I've done, and that's why I've done the calculation to include 2/24ths of that particular day, of which there are 365 in a year. I might do that. But they might give me a hard time. But, was it a practical thing to do? Yeah. Were you trying to skirt around their rules? No. But it was something that, you might have to do.
Now, do they ever come to your house?
Well, we have been visited. When we lived in Virginia, we were visited by the state sales tax people. And they wanted to check out our business. And that's because we had a shop building where we manufactured computers. And so they showed up. And we let them. And the guy stayed for about 3 days.
You have to let them in?
Well, I don't think I would. Not anymore. Not knowing what I know now, I would say, no, you're not coming in.
You were young and naive.
Yeah. It's kind of like the police. They jam their foot in the door, and they say, mind if we come in, while they're, pushing the door open. Now they're already in, okay? You got to make sure that you don't answer the door. So in this case, I would say, well, you're going to have to show me where I have to let you in. You have to show me the law, because I'm not letting you in until I see it, or unless you have a search warrant. But typically, they're not coming to your house. They're not going to come to your house. Now, the sales tax people are different. We're talking about an IRS audit or state audit. But sales tax people, they're pretty pushy. But you're not involved in any sales tax. You're not selling in your particular business. There is no sales tax involved, because you're not selling anything to your clients who happen to be students. You are selling them training, and there is no tax, sales tax on training. So they have no right to come in. And I would not let them in. If the question is, will you be audited, and will they say, okay, I want to see the room? The answer is, I have never seen that happen. I've never seen that happen. But that's not going to be a problem, because you will have a legitimate office that is dedicated for that specific purpose. Okay? And if they want to see it, you might be willing to show them a photograph. You show up in person and say, I'll show you a photo. Can't have it, but I'll show you. You might want to do that. I would avoid giving them any information that is not absolutely required by tax code.
Now, what about the summers? I probably wouldn't have much tutoring in the summer, as school wouldn't be in session. Do I have to say that I can't take those deductions over the summer?
Why not? Why would you not want to continue your business? You see, as far as I could tell, you have a business that runs 12 months per year. Number one, all businesses are trying to find new customers / new clients, right? And they're trying to find new business. Well, during that period, you're going to be using your office. You're going to be making phone calls. You're going to be contacting, the professors. You're going to be marketing. You're going to be reading the internet. You're going to be using your office, right? You may not have a lot of clients at that time, but that doesn't mean you're shutting down. You're still going to be researching. You're still going to be preparing. You're going to be preparing your lessons. You're going to be evaluating new ways of teaching, right? You're going to be looking at, well, maybe you didn't get all the equipment that you needed before then. So you may be traveling to, the electronics emporium to see what other new gadgets might be available to you. So you'll still have those business trips. You'll still have the business deductions and so forth. So your business is...
You're saying I'm kind of like a ski shop in the summer.
That's exactly right. You're still in business. You don't shut the doors down. You're still there. That's exactly right.
Cool. Now,
so do you... Go ahead.
What things do you think that I would buy for my office would be acceptable?
Anything that you deem necessary. You're the captain of the ship. As you look at, well, what do you have in your classroom right now? I'm talking about at the university level. So you're teaching in a large classroom. You have tools. Obviously, somebody at the administrative level thought that you needed to have a classroom, light, heat, those kinds of things, cooling, projector screens. They provided you with some of the tools, and then you provided some of the information and the delivery style. That's you've done that. Well, the tools that you would need to teach in your home-based classroom, you determine them. So if you decide that you want a specific shape of a desk, let's see if it's an unusual shape, but you like that. You like it to be shaped like a D, because you want your students in a semicircle. And let's say your room accommodates that. And you find a cabinet maker that's willing to build one for a price that you're willing to pay. Now, is that unusual? Sure. But who's in charge? You're in charge. If you want a D-shaped training area surface desk instead of a rectangular one, you're in charge. It's up to you. Now, could it be a mistake? I guess. And, you may say, I think the rectangular desk was really the best way to go. Well, it's still a deduction. Both of them. The second desk and the first desk. They're still deduction. So you're allowed to make mistakes. Now, the auditor may say, Marty, that's kind of silly. But there's 17 desks here. You can say, but I'm a slow learner.
Is there a point at which they say, is there a cap that they would say as far as money spent?
Well, I don't know if there's a specific cap. However, there was this one guy who was entertaining his, we'll call them clients. And he spent a lot of money, like millions on his house. It was, above and beyond. And it didn't work for him. But we're not talking about that. We're not talking about tax cheating. We're not talking about anything that is not legitimate. So I can't imagine, Marty, you doing anything that would be frivolous or out of bounds. I can't imagine you doing that, knowing you for all the years, decades that I've known you. So I can't see you hitting any kind of a cap, because it wouldn't apply to you, because you wouldn't be doing it.
That's probably true. I just wondered if there was a point at which, like a number at which they suspect anything beyond that.
Okay, well, let's say you went to you drove from the East Coast to California in search of a better way of teaching. Okay, well, the first trip might be approved, but the 14th one, they might say, hey, no, we're not gonna allow that deduction because it's ridiculous. 14 trips to California, are you really that slow of a learner? I mean, you could say, yeah, I am, but they'd probably say no, we're not buying it. So if it's reasonable, I'm sure it would fly. Just like I would, even though the internet says you can't deduct your dog. Well, you can't deduct your dog, but you can deduct your security system. And if your security system happens to be your dog, I don't see why you can't deduct it. And I said yesterday on the air, I deduct my dog because he is my security system. And I challenge the IRS to prove to me why it's not my security system. I challenge them. I mean, heck, the president has the Secret Service. Why shouldn't I have some kind of serious security system? Why not? I mean, he puts his pants on the same way I do. So I would challenge that. Marty Barrett and I will be right back. We're talking about extreme tax deductions. She started her own business, and she's going to enjoy the tax deductions. We'll be right back. So, Marty, you were asking me about limits, and I was thinking during the commercial break, are there any limits? Well, here's what I did. I'm saying this publicly on the air in front of the IRS and everybody else. So I bought 7 computers for my studio here at the farmhouse. 7 computers. Am I using 7 computers? No. No, I'm using 4 of this particular type that I bought 7 of. Why did I buy 7? Well, because there were $350 for all 7 of them with shipping. That's 7 computers, 7 keyboards, 7 mice, and 7 monitors. They're all Dell and they're all used. So that's $50 a piece. So I'm using 4 of them. would the IRS say, hey, you can't do that, you're only using 4, I'd tell them to take a hike, because I bought 7 of them so I'd have some spares. Well, have I used the spares since I bought them? Yeah, 2 of the computers failed. So I only have 1 spare left. Yeah. Well, I bought them for $50. What a great deal, right?
Yeah.
So are there limits? Well, maybe I pushed the limits. I don't know. But I'm happy with that. And by the way, they missed the window in auditing me for that. It's already passed. So I don't see any limits, because it was reasonable. I could have said, you know what, you're right. I should have spent $700 on each computer. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But I didn't. I spent
maybe next time
$350
you will, huh?
Well, probably not. Yeah.
You know, I was thinking that it seems like the best time to start your business is to think about anyway is when you're a kid. Is there any game or any preparation or anything that you could think of with kids that could get them to think about starting their own business and how to go about it?
Absolutely. And I'm willing to bet that you and I have played the same game separately, and we didn't even know each other back then. And most children our age have played Monopoly. And, you play Monopoly, but you don't know the rules. And pretty soon you play 3, 4, 5 times, you go, I think I got it. I got to buy everything. I got to, it's unwritten. You have to buy everything in sight. So when you land on a property, you have to buy that property. And pretty soon you learn the rules. Well, it's the same thing with what we're talking about here. Those who don't know the rules are going to pay way more in tax than those who do know the rules. And during broadcast number 1 of this series, I asked you the question, of the people you know, and there are many people that you know that I don't even know, who is better off, those who have their own businesses or those who have jobs? And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said that people who have their own businesses are better off, right?
Seems it to me.
Yeah, and that's because a lot of them have read the rule book, publication 17, and the associated extra publications that go with that about how you can take these deductions. So while you are paying for your car out of after-tax income, they're paying for their car with before-tax income. So their car is a business deduction. And until this broadcast, when you decided to start your business, your car was paid for from your salary, right? After all the taxes were taken out. So they're already at an advantage. So right now, as of this broadcast, you have the same advantage they have. You're going to be taking the same deductions that they take. And so Monopoly was a great game to teach us that we need to know the rules.
Did you smoke everybody in the neighborhood?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you smoke everybody in the neighborhood when you played Monopoly with them?
Well,
I bet you
eventually,
were the neighborhood champ.
Well, eventually I learned that you had to buy every property. And when you do, you win the game. The guy who buys the most properties wins the game. That's how it works. And I learned that, you could be a real estate investor and do the same thing. You could buy properties and have your tenants pay for those properties. Let's say the mortgage is $1,000 a month. Okay, and you add the taxes and the insurance, and now you're up to $1,200 a month. And if you rent it for $1,200 a month and nothing goes wrong, you break even, but you're appreciating at the rate of the value of the property. And let's say the property is, a couple $100,000. Now your nest egg is growing, starting with a couple $100,000 that your tenants are paying for. And that's why people invest in run-down apartment buildings and run-down houses, and they put tenants in them, because they're making money doing it. And who's paying for it? The tenants. Marty, I'm so delighted that you've decided to start your business, and I'd love to hear from you how well it works. Once you've gotten a couple months under your belt. Thanks for being with us, Marty Barrett.